Broadcasting from a location that government insists does not exist. This is the MnRTV Live Show, and tonight we've got a special guest, Michael Horn, who is a UFO contactee, and he'll be talking about Billy Meier and his UFO encounter and what it entailed. But before we get to that, David, 8:15 tonight, I introduce to you the one and only, the info madman from places unknown, Mario the Madman.
Yes.
Women are.
Yes. Yes. We're finally back again. We made it through another week. A lot of things have happened, but I'm glad we're back, aren't we?
Yes, exactly. And welcome back to the show. And are you excited to have him on to get to talk about when he talks about Billy Meier, his contact, and what he's researched in 1979?
Yes, I'm very excited to have him on, and he's going to get into great detail, but you have to wait because that's only going to happen in 30 minutes around from now, right?
Exactly.
So you are going to have to sit tight and listen to what we got to say in the meantime before he comes on, right? Because we're all excited. It's always great having guests on this show. So, shall we commence?
This whole week's been crazy for me. The Illuminati are trying to get to me. I cannot go into detail, but there is currently an ongoing investigation as to why the Illuminati is trying to get to me again. Does it surprise you, Mario?
No, it doesn't. They're always trying to get us, but it's you know what? It's signs that we're doing a good thing, a good job, that we're onto it, that they're coming after us. That's why it's happening.
Exactly. I mean, folks, I am being followed. So if anything ever happens, do know that this is why, because of the show, because we expose them. Anyhow, let's begin with our infamous pictures of the week and get going.
Okay, but before we do all that, I just have to explain, like I normally always explain, for the new people out there. There's always new people out there. That this is me. This is Mario. You won't see me anymore, but you'll see what I want you to show, what we have to show you, because you want to know the proof. So we're going to show you the proof right there. So you could either hear us or you could come and watch us, but it's always something there, right? There's always something there for you to do. So let me get out of here. Let me switch on over.
Switch it on.
Over. Share. All right. Now, here we go. This is it. The MnRTV Productions Mariolaur.blogspot.ca. There it is. See, Michael Horn.
Michael Horn, and he's very well known, and we're glad to have him on our show tonight. Very special person.
All right, and here you see, this is when we started, 2006.
10 years ago.
If you don't see this right here, no problem. Refresh. This shall come on. And then right underneath, there's Chitango. You can come and interact with us and tell us how you're feeling when the guest comes on. You could, have any questions. By all means, we'll try and send it. Well, we will give it to our guest, right?
Yes, of course. So if you have any questions for him.
Shall we start with the popular pictures of the week that has been both on Conspiracy Talk on Facebook and on Google+.
Many kids are measured under intelligence based solely on regurgitation of information. Many grown up thinking they are worthless and stupid because they do poorly. This is one of the many factors that contribute to a social burden and decay. No matter what anyone says, you are not stupid. It's just a different kind of smart.
You know what? I could relate to this because in school, they always tried to downgrade me, saying I'm not good enough. You're never going to go anywhere in life. That's what they kept telling me. And I said, you know what? I'm not listening to these guys.
They're just paid.
I'm going to make it.
They're just fed. Whatever they've been taught, they've been fed, and they just read out of a textbook and just like tell us what we are, who we are, because if we're different from anybody else. Society is the type that like we have to be pre-programmed like everybody else. Like they want zombies. That's what the Illuminati want. All of us slave zombies, working 9 to 5, going to school, getting a job, getting married, working 9 to 5 for 45 years, retiring, getting sick and die, and take your tax money and and croak. That's it.
In the meantime, when you're in school, you don't want to be discouraged. You want to be encouraged. They got to tell you you're going to make it somewhere. But it's okay. You know why? Because half the things they learned, half the things they teach in school is bull crap, anyways. Starting from their history all the way to I don't know. Math isn't bull crap though. Math is very important. Learning the language is important, but everything else like history is bull crap.
I know. It
And
is.
they condition us like that. So we've on next.
First, I was dying to finish high school and start college, and then I was dying to finish college and start working, and then I was dying to marry and have children, and then I was dying for my children to grow old enough for school so I could return to work, and then I was dying to retire, and now I am dying. And suddenly I realized I forgot how to live. This goes exactly what we were talking about before, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That says it in a nutshell.
but you know what? I was dying to do the MnRTV live show and bring it to the people and tell them exactly how we feel.
Exactly, for sure. I mean, this is a worldwide transmission, so people can see it worldwide. There's always people watching our show, new people every week that we do the show.
Yes,
And
and I'm
we're
sure our
blessed
viewers,
by that.
and I'm sure our viewers were dying to watch this show too. Ah, there we go, another one. Fast food restaurants.
Fast food restaurants using yellow, red, and orange because those are the colors that stimulate hunger. Popeyes, Puffle, Loco, Sonic, Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, Hardee's, In-N-Out, Del Taco, Pizza Hut, Johnny, I don't know, and the other one I can't remember. Hey?
Rockets, Johnny
And
Rocket.
the last one, I don't know what it is.
I don't know. Doesn't make sense. But don't get fresh here. Don't get fresh. Don't get fresh. I'm going to the next one.
Gaddafi had to be assassinated for humanitarian purposes. Explain why emails show Hillary Clinton knew Libyan rebels were conducting ethnic cleansing, but the U.S. supported them anyways, which led to ISIS.
Yeah, and I have something on the news just coming up within a few seconds or minutes about explaining all this deals. So we've on next right here.
It would take 32 glasses of water to neutralize the acidity of one can of soda.
I don't drink soda. Oh crap.
Coke I can't drink. I used to drink a lot of it in 2008. No wonder I got sick.
We don't need that extra sugar. It's all sugar and chemicals in there. I clean my old 1919 American penny that I found. I cleaned it with Coke once. 1919 or is it 1909 American penny?
You still have it?
Friends. Oh yeah, I have it somewhere.
You should take a picture of it.
I should. And it was all like grayed
Post
out.
it on Facebook. In the
Yes.
conspiracy talk. Now, this has been making a lot. Speaking of conspiracy talk on Facebook, this has been making a lot of rounds. The flat Earth psyop, and here it talks about little questions here. How is the sun set below the horizon every night? How is it we can't see Japan or even Hawaii in a telescope from California? How is it we can't see Mount Everest in a telescope from anywhere on Earth? How is it the Earth makes a spherical shadow on the moon in a lunar eclipse? How is it that some places at times have light darkness for 24 hours? The answers to these questions are obvious for a smart fourth grader. Yet some dumb shits or worse, yet liars are pushing this crap for their bosses. An attempt to waste your time and discredit sincere truth seekers to the mass. Exactly, the flat earth psyop. It's a psyop done by the FBI for people like conspiracy theories just to discredit them. That's why. I mean, the flat earth. I mean, it's flat earth dumb. This theory of this.
But I understand one thing here.
Hmm.
NASA, you know what they stand for. You know that they don't.
Yeah, never a straight answer.
Now that's why a lot of people are saying the Earth is flat because NASA's saying the Earth is round. So they're saying that NASA's lying. So maybe it's the opposite, like what I always keep saying about the government.
Okay. But what does the Bible say?
Like when the government says everything will be all right, it's not all right. Well, it's the same thing with NASA. NASA says the Earth is round. I don't know if the Earth is round because NASA says that the Earth is round, and then they like to lie. So
Doesn't the Bible say the ground a sphere?
Well, they say from the earth, four corners of the earth. That's what it says somewhere.
Exactly, yeah. But in the end of all ends, what does it matter if it's flat or if it's a triangle, or if it's square, or if it's round? Life here on this planet, basically, especially nowadays, positively freaking sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. It does. It very does suck, and it's all a lie, and it doesn't make a difference whether it's flat or round.
Or a
Doesn't make our
triangle, or
life
a
better.
rectangle, or whatever it may be.
No, because we have these problems right here. This I love this picture.
Exactly.
See
No
what this
gun.
picture is?
Yeah, I see Obama's with his foot. He's giving guns to Syria, and look,
Yeah, and he's well here. It's you see he's crying to this poor person that lost their child
and,
through four guns. So
yeah,
he's taking away the guns from the Americans to give to the Syrians, so like that they kill themselves there.
and look, and it's fine because her daughter or is dead.
Yeah, hypocrites. Hypocrites. Don't trust no politicians. They're all liars.
Exactly. Even Trump. Did you know the IRS has a plan in its employee handbook on how to collect taxes from people after a nuclear attack? Oh yes, they have a plan.
For the ones that are living. I don't know
Yeah,
if I want to live.
after a nuclear attack, I think that's the last thing you'll be thinking if your house is all decimated. How are they gonna find you?
I don't know. I never understood that post. That's why I put it up here. Now this one.
Ah, yes, this one right here. America, be light. I'm free.
Yeah, because you see, he comes out of a cage
A little cage.
to go onto the big cage, and there's another cage all around. Look, you see, it's cage over cage, because there's never freedom on this
And
planet.
free.
We're always with money. It's all about money. Money doesn't make us free. People think money are free, just like the Powerball. I was told apparently that whoever wins the Powerball, sometimes they wind up committing suicide because they can't handle the money. It's too much for them.
Well, I don't know. If you had that kind of money, it's like we don't need to spend it all. Why? You don't spend it all of it. You give to charities or whatever, and that's it.
It's not like we're taking it to heaven with us too. So
No. In heaven, we won't need money.
thank
Heaven,
God.
the reward is God.
So Yvonne, next, the
Remember,
trolls.
yes, this is true. Remember, 90% of trolls arguing with you are paid professionals. Look at that.
Yeah, and these are these people that, whenever we say 9/11 was an inside job, well, they're going to come and tell you, no, it wasn't an inside job. And they're going to start arguing with
But with
you with
anything,
that.
not just 9/11, but that's a good story.
No, I'm just giving an example,
Yeah.
And then they're practically laughing and saying, look at these guys on the conspiracy talk, fools, That's why we don't tolerate these guys.
It's not these fake government people.
It's like, you know what they're doing? You know what I always say that trolls are? They're like those people, like what do you call them? A wheelbarrow, right? Or a horse wagon, the wheels. Well, you go and you put sticks in them, and that's what trolls are. And what happens when you put sticks inside in wheels? Well, the wheels don't turn, so you go nowhere. Well, that's what they're trying to do. That's why we kick them out, and zero tolerance to the trolls. So Yvonne, next, speaking of illusion.
History is a lie. Money is a hoax. Death is fiction. Media is manipulation. Government is a corporation. The system is an illusion. Definitely.
It's all an illusion. Everything. That's what I was saying in school. Look, history is a lie. School. Well, what did they teach? They tried to brainwash you, saying that the history was true, Everything from Shakespeare all the way down to everything. Everything's a lie. The only thing that's not a lie is what we're saying on this show, because we do our research and we encourage everyone to do their research too. Now the Georgia Guidestones.
Frank, your theory about them killing off most of humanity is stupid. 6.5 billion. I mean, you act like it's written in stone or something. Oh, but it is written in stone. Is it ever?
And we've done a show on this. All you guys got to do, ladies and gentlemen, is just go Go look at our old shows.
Maybe by popular demand, we'll have to do another show on it one time.
Yeah, to refresh, right?
Yes.
So that's what all the pictures of the week that we put on Conspiracy Talks, Google Plus, and Facebook. Now, this speaking of Conspiracy Talk on Facebook, right here. See that? We got 50 new people. Robert always posts up the latest show always here whenever we do have. So all you do is you come here, click on it, and you'll see. It'll bring you to the blog. And you could do what you normally want to do with it. So I think we should, before I do that, this is conspiracy talk.
It's right there, the tango right there. There's a lot of action going on, and please feel free for our guest when our guest comes on, Michael Horn, to ask questions. Just put in the chat room. We're more than glad to give Michael the questions so he could answer it.
Okay, so let's commence now the news, right? And this really hits home.
Canadians panic as food prices soar on collapsing currency, and is it ever soaring money?
Well, look, I'll give you an example, okay? I remember maybe even 8 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago, $20 used to fill up your full carriage. Now with $20, I go in a store, I come out with 5 items, if I'm lucky, maybe 4 items, and they're all on sale. What the hell is going on here?
I mean, celery last year was
99 cents.
Now it's $1.99.
You're lucky $1.49.
I saw $1.99. And meat has gone up. Everything's going up. It was just yesterday that we documented the continuing slide in the loonie, which is suffering mightily in the face of oil's inexorable decline. As regular readers are no doubt acutely aware, Canada is struggling through a dramatic economic adjustment, especially in Alberta, the heart of the country's oil patch. So you can imagine what's going on. I mean, crime is going up, bank usage, and the food. That's very scary. I don't know if it's like that in the States. I'm sure it is to a certain degree, but I did not do research. But I know that it's here.
No, I mean it's like, I don't know, that the loonie is plunging. Soon our loonie is going to be worth an American quarter, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, what do we do? Soon we're going to have to go digging for insects, you know? We're going to have to eat insects.
But that's the thing, you know? I mean, there is the global collapse, but we don't know when.
But yet gasoline is dropping. I see it for 99 cents, certain places.
And look at that.
Yes.
Low income have to fight. Of course, with the layoffs piling up, you can expect more households to fall into the lower income category, which have to fight things like $3 cucumbers, $8 cauliflower, and $15 frosted flakes. I don't get it. What would be $15 for frosted flakes?
Well, I see them at $4.99 when I go shopping.
Not $15.
I don't know where they get this from.
I'd have to research that. I mean, that's just a bit ridiculous, but yeah, that's a lot of money. Yeesh.
Yeah, look at that.
2 for $6. Look at that. 2 for $6 now, $5.99. $3 for a cucumber.
Yeah, it's like the times are going bad. People don't realize that. It's not going to get any better.
No.
Forget about it getting any better. The only thing we have to do is revolt and look at that. Look at that, $7.99.
Yeah, $7.99 for cauliflower. That's insane. That's $8 plus tax. $10. What the hell? Tide.
Look at this, Tide 31. I never seen it for 31.
No, I never seen it. It's gotta be a mistake or something.
I see it for $4.
Sobeys. Wait, let's see. Sobeys. What is up with the price of groceries? That's in Atlantic Canada. It's
Here it's not that bad because we're in Montreal. We're in a bigger city. Maybe that's why we don't notice it.
But my God, I do know it's not, but not to this extent. Canadians will pay $245 more in groceries this year because of the falling dollar. A Canadian in Nuva pays $60 for a black bell pepper. North groceries. I get a feeling that if this comes, look, yeah, right there, the frosted flakes, $15.
I wouldn't pay $15 for that. That's garb wage.
Look at the eggs. Look at the eggs, $8.
Yeah, I know.
But that's incredible. I can't afford that.
Nobody, Rob, you can't. Nobody can. Only the 1% could afford that.
And the food's not even good to begin with. It's all chemicals anyway.
But people are blaming the Liberal Party. I don't think it's a Liberal Party. I think it's just in general. Liberal Party is just puppets. People don't realize that.
I know.
Black pepper.
What the hell is that? Food expensive like that. I mean, $15 a box of frosted flakes.
And they're saying because in California there's like droughts and there's no water, but I don't buy that. I don't know. I guess we'll go on to the next one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to depress all kinds of people.
Hey, Leland, welcome everybody to the show. Even all you people out there. Thank you for coming. So I mean, it's pretty disgusting if you ask me.
Yeah, it is for sure. Okay.
I mean, hold on now. Let me get the next one. It's right here. Because the economy is very important, and we're not going to talk about CNN and all that crap because they're not telling us the truth. How about this? Look at this.
World Economic Forum. Robots will eliminate 5 million jobs by 2020. According to research by the World Economic Forum, over 5 million jobs will be lost due to developments in genetics, artificial intelligence, robotics, and other technological changes. Richard Stallman wrote in the newly released report titled "The Future of Jobs," an estimated 7 million jobs will be lost, with just 2 million gained as a result of technological changes.
So, yeah, but you know what?
If we get to 2020.
Yeah, we will. Unfortunately, it'll be hard, but we will get there. Here's the thing. It's not just robots. Yeah, robots 2020. A lot of jobs, you know why they were lost? Because we're looking at it right now. You're all staring at it. Computers are in a way robots, only they don't move. So,
I know.
That doesn't help the cause. Yeah, it's good that we're doing a show thanks to these computers. But aside from that, I mean, it's not... We know the robots are going to take over. Eventually, robots will take over.
Exactly. But that's to be seen.
It's
I mean, no one's going to be working.
No, nobody is working. Okay. So now the next one.
Okay, yes.
David Bowie.
Yeah, the late great David Bowie. The Occult Universe of David Bowie and the Meaning of Black Star.
Now, before I go down, I always wondered about David Bowie. What's with his eyes? Why does he have two pairs of eyes that do not match?
It could be a birth defect.
Or is he a reptilian?
Oh, I don't know. There's got to be a reason. Or a hybrid.
Maybe he never did die.
Yeah. In the wake of David Bowie's death, his last album, Black Star, Swan Song, in an enigmatic conclusion to a career punctuated by otherworldly alter egos and esoteric symbolism, we'll look at the meaning of Black Star in the context of David Bowie's career. Very few artists can boast the longevity of David Bowie in the music industry, and his career spanned over 5 decades and produced 28 albums. Throughout the decades, Bowie migrated from one musical genre to another and even one persona to another, but constantly he was surrounded by otherworldly aura. Through his work, Bowie turned himself into a musical ascended master, a Gnostic Christ-like figure who achieved a high level of illumination and who sought to communicate a cryptic message to humanity. While Bowie's eccentricities could be attributed to drugs and rock and roll, one cannot paint a complete picture of this artist without mentioning his most enduring obsession: Western occultism. So he was into occult.
Oh yeah, big time. Aleister Crowley.
Yeah, well, he was into a great Dr. Faustus, Faustian Mephistophelian element here. We all know about Dr. Faustus, don't we?
Yeah.
And he did all kinds of, I don't know, I don't know what he did exactly. This is a bit, but I'm sure he contacted entities. Throughout his career, Bowie has often turned himself into a mere vessel, as he lent his body to various personalities who spoke through him, often communicating messages of deep occult significance. Bowie's final Black Star is no exception. In fact, it is a meticulously planned final chapter to the Book of Bowie, one that confirms the true meaning of his work and the cult inspiration behind it. Therefore, in order to understand Black Star, one must understand some of his most iconic imagery. Okay, and closer to the Golden Dawn, emerged in Crosby's uniform. I'm not a prophet or a Stone Age man, just a mortal with the potential of a Superman.
I don't know. I always wondered about this individual.
Yeah, the Golden Dawn was a magical secret society crowning glory of the occult revival, which flourished at the end of the 19th century that taught a unique blend of Jewish mysticism called Kabbalah or Kabbalah, also to be found in Bowie's symbolism, and astral travel, magic, yoga, also practiced by Bowie. When Bowie states that he is immersed in Crowley's uniform, he's referring to Aleister Crowley, the 20th century British occultist who was a member of the Golden Dawn and a founder of the OTO, or Ordo Templi Orientis. He was mostly known for his work in relics of sex magic, black magic, and the philosophy, the Thelma. So now we know what David Bowie was all about.
Oh yeah, bigly, and there he is. There's a picture, David Bowie here, and look who's here.
Mr. Crowley. I mean, Aleister Crowley.
The world's most evilest man, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I mean, do people do your research on him? And this is such a long article. We could probably do a whole show on him.
And extraterrestrial contact and who he started.
I mean, I don't know.
He could do a whole show just on that.
I know. Maybe we could. Maybe we should one day. Of all those people that died so far.
Exactly. And funny when he picked the Ascended Master.
We haven't got all day, and you know that he's tied with. Look at that. You know that he's tied in with Aleister Crowley. So yeah. When someone's tied in with Aleister Crowley, you know what he's all about.
Look at his video.
That's so demonic, and people say, "Oh, there's no such thing as demons. There's no such thing as that," because we don't see it. There's a lot of things we don't see.
That are in the spiritual world, it's more real than it is here.
Yeah, this is an illusion. This whole planet's an illusion.
Maybe we are living in a holographic universe.
Anyhow, let's see what people are talking about on the Chatangle. All right, so now let us go to the next one.
Space particles inside Egyptian pyramids may hold the key to their creation. Fairly new article. Researchers are set to start analyzing mysterious cosmic particles that they discovered in the Egyptian Bent Pyramid. And they say the particles could be the answer to how the pyramid was created some 4,600 years ago. An international team of scientists has said that they had installed plates inside the 105-meter tall Bent Pyramid built by the Pharaoh Nesru, and last month collected results. Inside the ancient structure, the researchers found radiographic particles known as muons that fall from the Earth's atmosphere. The particles easily could go through empty space, but they tend to be absorbed or rerouted by hot. Scientists are now going to study the patterns of the particles, and they believe that they may lead to groundbreaking findings.
What are pyramids trying to supposed to be like CERN or something?
I
Like,
think actually they do open up doorways, mysterious doorways to the past or different dimensions.
man, how I wish I can be. How I wish we can all go back and see how who can build the pyramids and what for. Why
The
were
last
they
year, I
built?
think last year we did do a show on the pyramid. If folks want to know more about pyramids, go back to our show about a year ago.
I know, but there's just so much to know about pyramids. You know, sure the Magi have something to do with pyramids also.
The Magi.
Ah, you, I don't know how to pronounce it. Now, remember I said something about we posted up a picture up before of Gaddafi?
Yeah.
Well, there it is.
Declassified emails revealed NATO killed Gaddafi to stop Libyan creation of gold-backed currency. In spite of French UN-led Security Council resolution 1973, one created a no-fly zone over Libya when they expressed intent of protecting civilians over the over 3,000 new Hillary Clinton emails released by the State Department on New Year's Eve containing damning evidence again, evidence of Western NATO using NATO as a tool to topple Libyan leader Muammar al-Gaddafi. The NATO overthrow was not for the protection of the people, but instead it was to thwart Gaddafi's attempt to create a gold-backed African currency to compete with the Western central banking monopoly. It's all about the money.
Yeah, but hold on here. Look at that. The three new Hillary Clinton emails. Keep that in mind. I have something about it later on. Yeah, it is all about the money. It's about the globalists wanting to take control
With the
over.
banking of all the countries. How the hell can they bring the New World Order if they don't do that?
It's all the globalists. It's like, you know, they say, yeah, we're there. We need to get the petroleum, the gas. But we know that cars work on water. So why are they really there? It's because they want to globalize. That's why. That's why they're there. It's only
Well,
for one reason, to globalize and to kill us off, right? Now, one thing that pisses me off is the next one right here. This. Every patch Tuesday, I always have to make sure that I don't get Windows 10 because I don't want Windows 10. Windows 7 works well. I don't need Windows 10 who's always spying on me.
I'm still using Windows Vista. Microsoft continues to aggressively push upgrades onto Windows 10. I don't know about you, but every Tuesday I have to do updates that take hours and hours, and they used to take like maybe half an hour. Now it takes like an hour, 2 hours just to get the updates, and I'm fed up with Microsoft. That's why I use alternatives. But I only use Microsoft to do this show. Even for the show, I wouldn't even get another computer. I wouldn't need.
No, I know it's ridiculous, but leave me alone with that. Once I installed the thing that appeared right underneath next to the time on the taskbar saying get Windows 10, I had to go looking deep, uninstall, find a thing to uninstall it while I uninstalled it. And then after that, I had to hide the installation because I don't want Windows 10. Windows 7 works fine. Don't bother me, Microsoft. Leave me alone for Pete's sake. Here it is right there. This is it right there.
Windows 10 is so persistent because KB 30355 version of the operating system was updated in December last year, making the upgrades now or Windows or upgrade tonight all too commonplace. It's ridiculous that you have to go through this and you have to go to the registry to fix all of this and tweet it or whatever. Most people don't know how. They don't have time. Nowadays, it's not like 15 years ago when we had time to think with a computer and tweak it and everything. Now it's like go. We need this like right away.
No, but
That's
the
what
thing is every time Patch Tuesday comes, I have to go look. Is that BKB number there or not? Because if it is, I have to remove it and hide it. And then I have to look. I have to make sure that there's none of these updates that come because I do not want Windows 10. What's the matter with you, Microsoft? Leave us alone already with this. It's all about spying. And speaking of spying, this right here.
If you have Facebook Messenger, you are not being recorded even when you're not on the phone. Yeah, that we know.
We know that, so should I go to something else, or you want to still check?
No, it's not for me to know. I knew about it for our viewers here. Of course, don't go
True,
to
I forgot about the viewers. Sorry, people.
No, I'm doing this just to hear myself.
Yes, no, we're doing this because you people are great, and we're spending time.
All right, go up a bit so I could read just a little. Okay, geez, how much more in bed would Obama and the NSA and Facebook get? If you have Messenger on our phone, delete it. Then re-download it and read the terms of agreements. This is sheer lunacy. Also, for those who didn't know, this one, check this video. This new is actually about 5 to 7 years old. Notice what the government has made cell phone makers do now. Notice you can't take the battery out. Well, yeah, how come you really can't take the battery out? I wonder why, eh?
But you know what? This goes to all the apps. All the apps, 90% of the apps tell you all that. Like, you know, that there's a camera that comes on, and that money, and that you have to pay. All the apps have the same thing when you download them. That's the thing, you know? And here, see, it tells you exactly: record audio, take pictures and video, read your own contact cards. It's all like that. It's like we know that they're checking everything that we do. It's like they're just getting us ready for one thing: the mark of the beast, which is around the corner. Because why? They want to control us all. That's why. Ah.
Well, they are already. This is like a worldwide web that we're all involved in. And we're probably public enemy #1 and #2.
Now, the next one, we'll just go fast, is cinnamon. Apparently, cinnamon, my friend, I don't know if it's too small here. Let me make it a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I see it. Health benefits of cinnamon.
No, I hate these. I hate these websites. I have no choice because of they want to advertise on the side there. I hate that. I guess, could you see it or small?
I see it, but I don't have to read it, so.
Well, look, people, do your research and look at the benefits of cinnamon. See?
A lot of health benefits there. Blood sugar control, lower cholesterol and triglycerides, cancer, antibiotic, antifungal, a whole bunch of stuff. Food
poisoning,
nutrition, odor neutralizer.
You know what? Since it's not looking so good here, I mean, you could see more or less here. I'll go down, and if you want, you could pause the video, or all the links will be posted in the description at in you know, the bottom of the show. When it's done, you will see that they're all there. But cinnamon is very, very important. It tastes good. It smells good. I love cinnamon, right?
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, I know, and I like to use cinnamon candles. Just smelling it, if you put it in your room, in your house, it smells very good.
Because you know that this show isn't just about all what we talk about. It's also, you know, if there's a way of making people better, we will make people better. So
anyhow, before Trish is calling us up, right?
Yes, it's that time of day. You know that's what it is.
UFO story becomes your favorite topic of the global media study.
Remember I said something about emails and Hillary Clinton before?
Yes.
Maybe the aliens were giving her emails.
Yeah, the presidential frontrunner Hillary Clinton recently had a close encounter of a journalistic kind. The Conway Daily, a small New Hampshire newspaper that asked the candidate opinion on UFOs and extraterrestrials. Those may not be as forthcoming as other matters, and surprisingly, Mrs. Clinton told the paper that she would look into the UFO question, adding that Earth may already have been visited and that a future task force could investigate Area 51, a top secret military installation in Nevada. I'd love to be part of that task force to go in there. You?
Yeah, it's the only thing good that Hillary Clinton's doing, it seems.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to write emails to her, telling her to do that, so that we could actually put the task force to work. But we know that's not true, because Area 51 is above the president. I think the clearance. I think the president on the 17th level, and I think Area 51 is like 30th. I think you have to have cosmic clearance to get
Yeah, but
Area
you know
51.
what? How about if Hillary Clinton comes out and says that she's an alien herself? How about that? Would people vote for her? Would she get a big vote? Imagine that.
Yeah,
She comes out.
and backwards voting for her for sure.
There we go. Donald Trump. Or is it going to talk about Sarah Palin?
I don't know, maybe it shouldn't be running with him. Who knows what they're planning next? It's all a psyop.
It's all use lazy stuff, this stuff. You know, it's all use lays, if you ask me.
Yeah,
Anyhow, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's ridiculous. Anyhow, you know, it's like you're Rubber, you're all perplexed there.
why? What do you know? I'm just studying as usual. You know my mind. I'm always studying everything.
You're thinking of stuff. You're thinking of stuff still.
Exactly. All right. So when Chris is going to be coming on the show. We'll be doing a little short break. And once she comes back, we'll be having our guest Michael Horn on the MnRTV Live Show.
So peeps, don't go anywhere. Grab yourself a coffee and enjoy the show. But we'll be right back in a few seconds. All right. So here's Trish.
Billy Edward Albert Meier. Billy Edward Albert Meier was born in B. Lach, Switzerland on the 3rd February, 1937 and currently resides at the Sun J. Silver Star Center, SSSE, Hinterschmiede, T, Switzerland, which he helped build and establish. Billy Edward Albert Meier, Sun J. Silver Star Center, September 28, 2008, 30 he has had a life rich with all different kinds of experiences in many countries, many of which were extremely difficult, nonetheless important and useful for his evolution and mission. He began contacts with the Plejaren in 1942 at the age of 5 years old. These contacts have been ongoing ever since and have also expanded to contacts with other extraterrestrial beings throughout the universe. The most important information imparted by Edward and his contacts is the knowledge of the true spiritual teaching, together with the contact information with reference to many topics concerning terrestrial humankind. The articles and excerpts contained here expound upon his very extensive and interesting life.
Thank you very much there, Trish. Your voice, it's always beautiful. I mean, it just adds the spices like cinnamon. That's how you are to this show, right there.
Exactly, for sure. So, in about 1 minute, we'll be getting Michael Horn, and he's going to be talking about the only real extraterrestrial contact case. And it's going to be very fascinating when he talks about his subject, Billy Meier.
Yeah, I mean, there's always interesting stuff. I mean, I listen to his stuff. I've been looking him up, and very interesting individual, especially with Meier stuff, Billy Meier. You know?
I know exactly. There's going to be a world of information here. I could imagine it. For sure. It'll be great.
So anybody have questions right here, you know?
Exactly.
Tom Horn. No, it's Michael Horn. Michael Horn. I don't know, someone put Tom Horn. It's Michael Horn. Don't get confused, people. Unless if Tom Horn knew about Bella, but I don't think so. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know cinnamon is very beneficial, apparently. It's like it does a lot of great wonders. Oh, sorry, you got an echo. I don't hear an echo. Anybody else out there hear an echo? Oh, okay, there we go. Michael Horn, yes.
Okay, all right. So let me try and get it.
Michael Horn on. Yes.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this. Let's get it done. Let's do it.
Okay, we'll just wait now.
Hello,
Hello, Michael.
that's me.
Michael Horn. Welcome to the MnRTV show.
Well, thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You-
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you.
Do you want me to try another? This is with a headset. I can try it without. You can tell me if
Okay.
you prefer.
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah, try without the headset.
Which is better? Now I'm without the headset.
I think it's better like that.
Without the headset.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Sure. We'll do that then.
All right. So welcome to our show. We're very excited to have you on. Are you able to tell us a bit about yourself and how you got involved with Billy Meier, your UFO contact?
Sure. In 1979, I went into a bookstore in Los Angeles that had books on alternative subjects, paranormal, UFOs, etc. And I saw the first photo book from Billy Meier, and it was absolutely astounding because the photos were so clear. And up until, this is 1979, we're going back quite a ways, and
Yeah.
there was nothing even remotely comparable around. Really, there still isn't, which is also remarkable. So I got the book and I read it and reread it, and there wasn't much more I could do except to keep looking at how remarkable the photos were and read about the analysis and the different things. And then about 7 years later, in 1986, I was in a little restaurant in Sedona, Arizona, with my daughter and a friend of mine, and we met another guy in there, and one thing led to another. We were talking about UFOs, and Billy Meier's name came up, and this guy said, well, have you read all the contact reports? I said, I don't know what that is. And he says, well, it's all the conversations he's been having with these people. So I said, no. He says, well, when you get back to LA, come up and see me. I'll give you 1,800 pages. And indeed, I did, and he did. And that was 1,800 pages of transcripts, conversations that Meier had between 1975 and 1978. And there was a huge amount of information in there. It was fascinating. And it took me kind of, a few months to read and reread and go over everything. And then I put that away for a little while. And 2 years later, I saw what was announced as a new scientific discovery in a newspaper about the atmospheric A-bomb testing and ozone damage. And I thought, this can't be new because somehow I already know it. And I don't know why. And then I reached under the bed and I grabbed the first 100 pages of Meier's transcripts, and there was that interview. There was that information, and that basically they had told him all about the so-called new discovery, decades ago. And on top of that, it turned out that Meier himself also knew about that connection back in the 50s. So it was astounding. It was the beginning of my looking into the material to see what kind of scientific information was in it. And to date, we probably have somewhere around 200 specific corroborations of what we call Billy Meier's prophetically accurate scientific and world event-related information. So that is still unfolding now. As a matter of fact, I just saw some online today. They now think they've discovered a new planet beyond Pluto, and Billy already published that back in 58, 78. There's actually 2 more planets they'll discover beyond Pluto. And it's just like it doesn't stop, but people are so preoccupied with make-believe these days that they can't understand how monumental this is.
How did they contact him, to begin with? Was it a UFO abduction, or they just came to him? How did this begin, his contacts with Billy?
He's never been abducted.
Okay.
When he was 5 years old, he actually had his first telepathic contact where he heard a man speak to him in his voice, in a voice in his head. He thought it was very strange, of course. And that man's voice was assuring him that everything was okay, that, this was another human being from somewhere else. And shortly after that time, he had his first meeting with this man whose name was Spath, S-F-A-T-H. And that began an 11-year period of his being tutored and taught by Spath, before he also then had another teacher named Esket and then Semyaze. So Meier first had a telepathic contact, and then the contacts, in addition to occasional telepathic, were all physical, voluntary, wide awake, no abductions.
How do these contacts that he speaks with, how do they look? Do they look different from us?
No, they look almost identical to us. They're human beings. You see, there are no extraterrestrial abductions going on. This is a hysteria that basically has been created by the intelligence services to keep people in fear, in imagination, delusion, chasing their tails, and into ridiculous nonsense, which is what the UFO field primarily is. So everybody gets all stirred up about UFOs and aliens. Most UFO sightings are of secret military craft. Most are not extraterrestrial. And there's so much information in the Meier case that walks people through all this where they could reason their way through. But most of the UFO community wants to chase imaginary aliens and lights in the sky and get all hysterical. And they miss completely what the case has been about and the warnings to humanity that Meier's been publishing for 65 years, since 51. So we're in a pretty sad state because people want to play pretend all the time.
So you mean there are no gray aliens?
No, the Greys were really androids that were involved at the Roswell crash, maybe one or two of the other 8-9 crashes that were recovered. They weren't extraterrestrial human beings. They were robotic androids that were used by extraterrestrials in far distant space on exploratories. And when they, when that craft crashed and those androids were found, well, that made a wonderful model for, gray aliens that are going to now be abducting people and all this nonsense. So there's no evidence. And this is why the UFO field is deservedly often ridiculed, because people get all excited and run around in circles with zero evidence of anything truly extraterrestrial. And the Meier case has all the evidence, and they don't want to know because they don't want the responsibility of having to think. So it's a problem.
How does this relate to MUFON?
MUFON has been an opponent of the Meier case for 50 years or so. I've gone after them and finally got them to at least list the Meier case in their research, but they refuse to look into it because once they acknowledge, and they know, by the way, the president of MUFON, I've talked, he knows the Meier case is real, but once they acknowledge it, they're out of business, really. I mean, who cares about chasing after all this imaginary stuff? If you find out that there's a real case, it's still going on, there's well over 26,000 pages of information, 1,200 clear, authentic photos, films, medals, and all that MUFON has is sending people out, so-called, into the field to observe secret military craft and run around like a bunch of fools. Wow, that's really nifty.
What about all these abductions that people claim? What is that? Is that a black ops operations by the U.S. government?
When the abductions are real, and not even all of them are even real in any way. A lot of it is mass hysteria, sleep paralysis, nightmares, because all this nonsense has been so well circulated into the media, the public mind. Yes, those are, when they're real, they are secret military, which would include, but maybe not be limited only to the U.S. military, but certainly secret military operations. I even have a video on my website from a guy I interviewed who was a former U.S. Army Ranger. He had a weapons industry career above top secret. And he said, yeah, the Rangers can go into a neighborhood at night and pump gas under somebody's door, put them out like a light, mess with them any way they want, give them false information, and in the morning they think they've been abducted by aliens. He says, I worked at Dulce. There's no aliens. There's no aliens anywhere. There's secret military craft. I've seen them.
A Dulce base.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
A Dulce base.
Yeah, he worked also at the Dulce base.
There's no. What about the aliens that they said there's like hybrids?
None, zero, zip, zilch. There are no aliens. You have to think this way. If there's an extraterrestrial race that can get here, that means that those beings, those people, would have long lifespans because they have to go through the evolutionary process of developing space travel that would take them sometimes centuries to get from one place to another. And they would be highly intelligent. They would have, great technology. Why would they come to a primitive friggin' planet like this, where people can't live in peace from one household to another, and abduct people whose lifespans average 72 years, who are riddled with degenerative diseases and crazy emotions? What's in it for them? They've already long since left that stuff behind them. But we create all this nonsense based on our own pathologies, based on our own screwiness. We think that because we're nuts, that the rest of the world has got to be nuts too. The rest of the universe has to be nuts. No, the rest of the universe isn't nuts. There may be some out there that are, but the advanced beings that can space travel and all that, they've worked out a lot of this stuff so that they can function and travel through space. We are not space travelers yet by a long shot. We can throw a tin can at the moon, but that's about it. Maybe something at Mars, but we don't have true space travel. We're short-lived, crazy people who are hell-bent with our technology and weapons to destroy ourselves as fast as we can, and we think that advanced beings want something from us. Yeah, they want us to stay away from that. That's about what they want. And right now, we're not in danger yet because we can't venture out into space. If that changes, then they're going to be worried.
So Billy's his contacts with these UFOs, how did they get here? Is there a special way that we don't know?
Well, they have hyperspace propulsion. They've long since mastered space travel. Their ancestors were space travelers many multi-millennia ago. And so that isn't a big deal for them. They refine it. They have now almost instantaneous transmission if they want it from one place to another. And they have huge ships as well that go and probe the depths of the universe, and they do scientific study. They don't abduct, they don't attack. They have their own armaments to protect them if they're attacked. But they're not warlike. Their ancestors were, and they finally worked it out and stopped that ridiculousness. But we just can't get enough of destruction and war. So at a certain point, when we realize just how terminally, tragically we are destroying ourselves, maybe we'll start paying attention to what they've been advising for the past 65 years. And if not, we will go back to pretty close to the Stone Age and start again. No one's coming to save us.
Before earlier you mentioned sleep paralysis. What is sleep paralysis? If you could answer that.
Well, I'm hoping Billy's going to shed more light on it. But the phenomenon that I've experienced, I know that
I have also.
Sure. Well, as you know then, and as some of your listeners may also know, it's an experience where you seem to wake up maybe in the middle of the night, but you can't move physically. You feel paralyzed, and it creates some anxiety, and you can feel like somebody or some other people or beings are in the room around you or whatever. And you can't even make a noise or scream or move. And at a certain point, you just kind of either fall back to sleep or wake up and you come out of it. And I don't know yet more what that's about, but I actually sent that question into Billy so that hopefully someday soon he'll let us know from his perspective what that is. But people confuse a lot of things with so-called alien abduction. It's like, when was the last time the mayor of your city or the governor of your state thought you were important enough to call you up and ask you something? Why do we think extraterrestrials are coming from hundreds of light years away to abduct our sorry butts? It's foolishness. But now that we have the internet and we're bombarded with media and entertainment, disinformation from morning till night, people get misled and they run off in these crazy circles. They think people are channeling extraterrestrials, meeting with them, and gosh knows what. Nope, ain't happening.
What are they channeling into?
Basically, they're channeling into parts of their own consciousness where they either are a bit schizophrenic, and a lot of them are schizophrenic, or they just tap into, because of their own desire for specialness and all the rest, all the stuff that they've been absorbing from the media, from the books they read, all this stuff, they put it together subconsciously to make themselves and other people think it's coming from some more advanced source outside of them. Of course, they can't answer any question worth a darn with any uniquely significant and accurate information that isn't already known, because they don't have access to it. And I know people that do this stuff, and I've been around a lot of it since 1986. I went to channeling events, and it's all, it's entertainment. It's all it is. And at best, it's entertainment. At worst, it's misleading double talk, gobbledygook. Anybody who wants to sit and take a few breaths can start to chant, "Greetings, we are the Space Brothers, come to you across time and space to let you know that you are masters on your plane of existence, moving through times." It's all mumbo jumbo. Anybody can do it.
The pyramids. Does Billy Meier know who built the pyramids and why?
Well, more than 73,000 or so years ago, originally, they were built by Earth people, and with the help of some people, human beings from the Orion system. Most of the building was actually done through very, very intense physical labor. There were no slaves involved. These were free people working to do this. And some of the benefits were from advanced technologies that the extraterrestrials had. But most of it, according to Meier and the Playaran people, was done through physical labor. And there were various functions that he's mentioned. They were mathematical structures. They embodied a lot of specific information about the distance from the Earth to the Sun, this and that, and all sorts of stuff. And after their original building, someone who was the son of the king, I believe, who was an astrologer, had a vision or a dream about a coming catastrophe, which they then illustrated on the outside of the pyramid for the people to know when this was going to happen. And then as the time approached, the pyramids were used to shelter people. They came inside and kind of sealed them up until the cataclysms were over. And then they came out again. And the pyramids have been so-called renovated maybe in the past 8,000 to 12,000 years, where Egyptian pharaohs redid things, or rebuilt and remade things, so that some of whatever the other original purposes may have been lost, and other things were done. They're interesting. The pyramid shape itself is a concentrator of energy. Sometimes it can be very dangerous. Sometimes it can be very helpful. We, for the most part, don't know about that or how to use it. But we get fascinated by this energy, and we think, it's all mystical and holds the answer to everything. And it may have some answers, but right now the answers have to be found by people learning how to think and live properly.
Oh wow, that's just fascinating. So
yeah.
Billy's visitors, where did they come from?
These people live in the direction of what we know as the Pleiades in the night sky. Now, they don't live in those Pleiades because there's no inhabitable planets, there's no life in the Pleiades, but they live about 80 light years beyond the Pleiades, so they're living about 500 light years from here. and in a slightly altered time-space configuration, which I can't explain. It's not my specialty.
Okay.
But they live in a physical world, a planet that's not unlike ours. They live human lives, and while they have tremendous technology, they also live relatively simple lives where they stay in touch with their nature and the earth. They have highly advanced farming techniques, but they also have their own gardens. They try to just live conscious, spiritually focused lives. They have long lifespans. They study sciences and all sorts of things. So, an interesting thing to look forward to if we make it through this next 800 years here.
Are they male and female?
Of course. Yeah, just like us. They make babies, the whole deal. It's like they're human beings. In some cases, their distant ancestors were actually some of the gods of our religions. Because all of our religions where we have deities, with the exception of, the most primitive religions, animalistic things, where they're talking about deities in the sky, they're talking about extraterrestrials from different groups that appeared here thousands of years ago. They ruled over the primitive earth people. They led them to believe that they themselves were the creators of everything and, helped to screw things up real well. So, yeah, they're male and female. They're not perfect. They can make mistakes too. They constantly learn. They're just far wiser than we are, far more knowledgeable, far more technologically advanced, and infinitely more spiritually developed.
Are they disease free, or have they conquered all the diseases, mostly the illnesses?
Did they conquer illnesses?
Yes.
Yeah. They claim that they conquered, basically all the illnesses that they as a human race would have to deal with. They say every now and then they can still get a cold or a headache, but basically the things that plague us, they've long corrected, done away with, long ago. And we could do this kind of stuff, but you see, we focus all of our energy and resources on destroying each other and ourselves. That's how warped our thinking is, and that has come out of religion and politics. So if we ever can get past pollution of religious beliefs and political dead-end, greedy thinking and power hunger, we might have a chance at evolving.
Do you think that one day, how can we contact these aliens ourselves, these people, these visitors? Like, how do we would you go about it? Or do they choose us?
Yeah, and they're not interested in contacting us. They contacted one man for very specific reasons, who, when he was a young boy, had the capacity to be able to be tutored, taught, mentored, and had certain things awakened in his own consciousness about his previous lives and his role as a contactee and a prophet numerous times in the past. And that was a very specific thing. They're not here to make us feel good and entertain us like, wow, we're going to contact you. You're special. No, it's pointless because we don't know what to do with it. We can't even learn from going to a decent school how to do anything other than, drive ourselves nuts. So rather than risk having more damage done in our world by people who would be too excited and distort the information and the truth again and again, they find one person periodically. Usually it's the reincarnation of a previous specific prophet, the same spirit reincarnating. They work with him, and this is the electronic age. This is the final prophet. They don't need to contact anybody else because now all that they have to convey has been put into publication by Meier, and they don't need any more prophets. They don't need any more contactees. The rest is up to us if we want to make it. If we don't, it's just, oh well, there's millions and millions of human races in the universe. If we want to stay in the stupidity that we've chosen for ourselves, it's not their business. They tried. They've offered the help. Are we intelligent enough to take it? That's it.
So you were saying there's millions of different types of races, right?
Yeah.
Do they all look like us, or is there some other ones like insectoids, reptilians, different types of species out there?
The majority of human races in the universe have features in common with variations. There are some that are much larger, some that are much smaller. Skin colors, there's over 340 different skin colors. We can't even imagine that.
No.
And some have more or less fingers, let's say. Some might have, one eye or three eyes. But for the most part, it's all recognizable human beings. And while there are amphibian-type beings and all, the so-called reptilians that all these idiots in the UFO community babble about are basically fiction, designed to scare people, sell books, make money, and have people be fearful and chase their tails and waste their lives with UFO nonsense.
Oh, wait. Billy Meier, is he warning of a U.S. collapse coming?
Yeah, well, he's written about this. I had a blog just yesterday, on January 19th, with some of that information. He was first told about this now about 41 years ago, 1975. He was told specifically about the coming collapse, and that by 2020, if things are not changed by the people in this country will certainly no longer be a superpower. There are 2 civil wars coming to America. As far back as 2006, I put up a video on YouTube simply saying, Meier stated that if things go a certain way, we may as well roll cigarettes with our paper money. That means financial, collapse. That's been on YouTube now for almost 10 years. People don't want to pay attention. They want to chase imaginary UFOs. So, yeah, we're going to have, we can see it now. Even a lot of the financial analysts, as I wrote yesterday, are beginning to talk about this. But Meier, they've already laid this out for us long ago. And I've tried to, get information out to scientists, analysts, people. And for the most part, they're arrogant and resistant because they care mainly about making money in their egos. And here and there, you find a few good people. So recently, I made my first presentation in an American university at NAU, Northern Arizona University, to a class that was spellbound for an hour and 10 minutes. Have a new film out about it as well. And, that kind of thing is what I hope will spread and increase. But you have a lot of stupid people in positions of power, and all they care about is getting, their pockets filled, and to heck with everything else.
Did Billy have a warning about ISIS?
Yes, of course. In 1958 was the first time he warned specifically about the danger of what he called irrepressible worldwide terrorism from radical Islamists. In 81 and 87, he specifically foretold that France would fall. Paris will be burned out. France will fall to radical Islam. It was again in 1995 that was mentioned that radical Islam is going to bring terrible stuff to the world. In November of last year, November of 2014, he asked for a petition to be put out to call for a huge military force to put down the IS or ISIS, because if not, this terrorism that would spread worldwide, as he foretold at 58, would really start to accelerate, and we could go back to the Dark Ages. And he foretold that Europe would be overrun by radical Islam. And of course, Merkel from Germany opened the doors to that. That is now underway. They won't be able to stop it more than likely unless really they wake up, and take radical action, because they've let in people that are going to just bring in more people. And that the radical part of Islam is an insanity all of its own. It's a bloodthirsty insanity. Most Muslims are not crazy people. I have no respect for religion, but there's lots of nice Muslims, Christians, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, whatever you want. Whenever you get radical fundamentalist people, you get real tragedy, and we will see just horrific things. They are happening already. The radical Islamists who attacked in San Bernardino, California, and those who attacked in France, then there was just attacks the other day in Indonesia. People, don't pay too much attention, but the stuff, these sleeper cells are in this country, and we may well see events that we can't imagine could be taking place here. And that is also, we have to lay a lot of that right at the doorstep of American policies that have gone on, as well as the Christian Crusades from long ago and the imperialism of countries, like France, Britain, and the U.S. So everything that occurs accords with the immutable law of cause and effect. None of this appears in a vacuum. This has been set in motion long ago.
Will ISIS take over the world, or come close to it, or cause a big war?
Well, Meyer said there is the danger of the world being sent back to the dark ages if people don't come together in a true, real military alliance to put it down. The problem is that there's still too much profit making from ISIS, from the IS, through the oil and the munitions and arms. And all these countries that, terrible, they're making money off it. They don't care. Turkey, who knows? Russia is probably one of the countries we should be aligned with to fight them. But we're so arrogant because we want to take over the Middle East and we foment trouble there every opportunity that we are working against our own best self-interest by meddling in everybody's business and not cooperating to help to make the world safer. But that is why, in the prophecies from 81 and 87, they foretold that the USA is most likely going to be utterly destroyed. I'm not happy about that. I live here.
Exactly, for sure. Do you foresee anything? Does Billy foresee anything in the coming 2016?
Well, there's been nothing specific about this year other than that all of this stuff is unfolding. The environmental damage, we're going to see stuff that's unimaginable with that. The magnitude of storms, the magnitude and frequency of earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, volcanic eruptions, parts of land masses disappearing into the sea. This is from here on going to be happening, intensifying, sudden things that nobody expected, and some that maybe they do expect will be happening because we use the environment, and all the know-it-alls kept denying it, even though Meyer is the first person starting in 51 and 58 to foretell unnatural man-made climate change, unnatural climbing global warming, and everything that comes with it. So, you can thank the people in the UFO community for doing the most damage because they fought against the Meyer case because they couldn't make a buck off it. Sick.
What do you think? We have all of these millions of races across the universe. Who created all of this?
There's no who involved. The Playaran explained to Meyer that this universe itself is a consciousness as well as a structure. It is that which created, sustains, maintains everything within it. We can't quite figure it out. And to be honest, Meyer has said a lot of this is simply beyond the ability of the human brain. Don't worry it, because you're not going to be able to figure it out. Even the Playaran can't figure out a lot of stuff. We would like to think it's nice and tidy. Oh, here comes God on this little cloud. Kapoof. Now there's Earth and a bunch of stars and stuff, and he creates everything and moves on driving around up there. Except that isn't reality. It doesn't exist. This universe, which is, according to Meyer and Playaran, one of countless billions, exists within the void, within endless emptiness, beyond, outside of space, outside of the universe. We have no idea of reality. We can't figure it out. We literally can't figure it out. This is unknown to the human mind. We don't like it. So let's just say that God created everything, and when we die, we're going to sit on a cloud up there in heaven, play a harp. Well, that's pretty primitive gobbledygook, which has no basis in reality. But, millions of people have been led to, embrace that nonsense so that they didn't go stark raving mad and didn't start to think about the meaning of life and how to really live it. And they could give all their money and energy and belongings to a church, one religion or another. But that isn't reality. The creation birth itself, a Big Bang, did happen. Again, we're only talking about this universe, but that's enough. We don't have to worry about, endless universes that may exist, because we have, paths of evolution to go through as individual spirits taking a new personality, countless hundreds of thousands of times in the course of millions and millions and millions, even into the billions of years of evolution. So if we want to study the spiritual teaching in the Meier case, much of which is free on my website, we can ponder these things and get more information to think through. Or, we can tune it out. Or we can just focus on leading good, decent lives and doing the best we can in each lifetime. That's pretty important stuff.
What happens after death?
Okay. According to the information, when we die as a human being, as a personality, the part of us that is the personality, the psyche, all this is slowly dissolving, while all of the information from that personality in that lifetime is absorbed by the human spirit, part of us that actually is eternal. It's not a personality. It's the part that really is it's the energy that runs us. It is the part that will evolve and evolve and evolve, zillions of times until we merge with the universe. And we don't have consciousness of the spirit at this point. When we die and the personality is dissolving, the spirit absorbs all that, the spirit goes into what you might say is an etheric realm around this planet that they simply call the beyond, where it is we might use the term resting state, until it's time for it to reincarnate and to take another personality and develop. And it will always be a new personality. It won't have anything to do with the former personality. For the most part, we don't and won't truly remember our past lives. It wouldn't serve us to. Our lifetimes are relatively short, 70 to 100 years. We've got to get this one each time to make sense. Focusing on who we may have been in another lifetime, we wouldn't know what to do with it. So the beauty of it is that, in truth, we're eternal beings, but not as personalities. And that's something else that human beings, we have trouble trying to figure out how that can. But it isn't set up to work against us. It's, life really works. And the more we study the spiritual teaching and learn to think, the more it reveals itself, and all of this anxiety and fear about life and death starts to go away, because we start to get the true order of things and how relatively perfect all of that works. The only thing missing is us getting it straight, but it's just like, okay, we're not the most evolved beings in the universe, and we're going to, kind of screw around a bit and learn through our mistakes. But through studying the spiritual teaching written by and given to Meier by Pleyard as well, we start to really get a phenomenal glimpse and understanding that expands, that so exceeds anything a philosophy or a religion can ever bring us, that we could really wonder, wow, why didn't I ever know this before? And that's because the reason you didn't know it before is because the religions made sure you wouldn't know about it. The politics and media and military and economic systems don't want you to know about this, because they don't want people to be free. They want to control them and exploit them. That's unfortunate.
All this technology we have now, where does it come from? The internet, the computers, cell phones? I mean, it just seems to explode. Was it reverse engineered?
Well, here's what, like the Pleyard told Meier, people on Earth should understand that as human beings, they have tremendous capacity, genius, ideas. The extraterrestrials aren't giving you everything you've got. There are cases where certain things have been indirectly impulsed, stimulated in the minds of human beings, so that they would develop the ideas. They weren't given everything. They were given a seed, and if the person was receptive and they took the seed and developed it, they never knew that it came from somewhere else. But it was done to help us, and everything is a double-edged sword. A lot of the things that are, wonderful, like the internet and all this, also are kind of crippling to us because a lot of human beings have never learned how to think. And just because we can search for information doesn't mean we know how to think or use it, utilize it. And that's a tragedy of the times. A lot of people become more stupid since technology, because sure, we've been taught how to press all sorts of buttons and we can find this about that and all the rest of it, but where the heck are we going to really learn how to think? So that is something that, well, we've got a ways to go.
It sure seems like it's the way the world is going.
I'm sorry?
It sure seems that way, the way the world is going.
Yes, it's unfortunate, but true. The world is not going in the best direction. And this is up to individuals. It's going to take time because, you try to wake people up to stuff, and most of the world is very resistant. It wants to be entertained. It wants to be lied to, fooled, tricked, put to sleep. And the internet and technology really help to do that. Oh goodness, here's your new phone. Play with it. Put, Instagram this and selfie yourself until you're blue in the face. And what happened to your day? Where was your thinking? What did you develop? Well, I can search. Yeah, go search. What is it doing for you? So this is a huge problem. And most people that grow up in this digital age, the past 25, 30 years, whatever you want to call it, they have no idea what real life is like. The things that went on before. No idea. They don't know how long it really took to publish a book before online books. I'm one of the first creators of ebooks, 1995, for what it's worth.
Really?
But yeah, it was one of the things I created. So now the company I, partnered with to get it going, they decided not to go any farther and they just sell off their company, unfortunately. But our company was the first company literally called ebooks. Then it was netbooks, and then the guy went and just pumped and dumped his stock and closed the company, and that went on. Yeah, it's all documented. You can even search on the internet. You'll find under netbooks, you'll find the names of these people and me and what have you. But so much for that. But this is the thing. It's like with all the techno toys, what are people can't. A lot of people can't even hold a conversation with each other. They just can't even talk to each other because unless they're texting and using all these broken words, or people sit around tables together texting other people. I mean, this is insanity. But people don't know it because they think this is normal. They don't know that this is so abnormal that it's practically dooming of human life.
What do you think about the NASA space program?
Well, I've got a friend. There's two people I know who have been involved for sure on. Oh, I'm kidding this guy. There's. Do you hear that Skype thing?
Yes, I do.
I'll let it go just so you know. But don't worry about that. So, as I was saying, I've got a couple friends. One who was an engineer for NASA. He worked on the space shuttle. He worked on the space station. He came forward to say, look, the Meier case is real. And he knows. But I know another guy with a big rocket launch company. He did the same thing. The thing is that most people are not, in the space industry. They're pretty hooked into that. But there are those that know that there's a lot more going on outside of it. So it's a mixed bag.
What are your views on the dark side of the moon? Is there anything like spaceships and cities?
It's doubtful. There'd be no reason to build a city on the moon at this point by anybody else. We should have extraterrestrials put up any bases there. That seems possible. But Meier did. When I asked him, Meier said that he had never seen any evidence of that there. And he has been, he was taken there when he was young, he was taken there when he was a little older. But, you know, most of this stuff, there's not much we can do with it. Because, true or false, it's not really doing anything for us here on Earth. We can't make it do anything for us. You know what I'm saying? It's like
what do I want to say? Yes. Can you tell us about your film and where people can see your film?
Which one? I've got a bunch of them.
The latest one.
Oh, yeah. The latest one is called When Truth Prevails.
Right.
And, yeah, When Truth Prevails. And it is, that one documents my presentation at the university, the Northern Arizona University, and it's available as a, you can purchase it as a download or as a DVD. And what I can tell your listeners that if they buy any one of my DVD films off of my website, theyfly.com, I will send them a free film. And it could be that one, they just have to tell me what they want. I'll be happy to do it. All they have to do is say, you know, free in the order, and I'll send them free. Because I want people to see this and learn about it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes. Sorry about that. I was just reading the questions of people, of my viewers here. They want to know, what do you think of the SETI telescope? What will they find?
Well, SETI is a huge waste of time and money. It just, how can I put it? It's a fraud. I have contacted people, scientists at SETI. I've sent them information over the years. They've ignored it. They want to pretend like it's not real. Like, oh, when we are contacted by extraterrestrials, it's going to be mathematical language. And no, they speak German, the Meier. And if you people, you know, would stop being such frauds and thinking that you, for some reason, are going to be the ones contacted by extraterrestrials, you could learn something and do an awful lot to help this world. Well, they're not interested in that. They want to, you know, be all important. And so I publish stuff attacking them for it because they're liars and fraudsters. They've got 70-odd different scientists at SETI, you know, Search for Extraterrestrial Existence. They don't want to know that these contacts have been going on with Meier for 74 years. This is the insanity of this mediocrity, this what do you call it? Like, everything has to be profit motive. That if they're not profiting, they don't want to know. Now, I've got stuff on my website. I've got tons of stuff on my blog. If your viewers and listeners want to pursue that information, please, you know, I'll do anything I can to help you. We have so much free information because that is, you know, it's been the focal point. I do my work for free. Sure, if I make a film or something like that, I sell it so I can get more money, so I can make more films. But everything, you know, we try to do as much as we can voluntarily for free. I maintain a blog. I carry a little, you know, laptop, not a laptop, an iPad with me day and night so that I can approve comments even when I prefer to be sleeping. This is so that people from around the world can discover this and start talking to each other, you know. And when people write me emails, I respond to everybody. It takes me time, you know, often to get around everything, but I respond to everybody, and I don't necessarily know the answer to every question they've got, but what I do is I look for it, or I, you know, tell them where to search for it, blah, blah, blah. This is, you know, important stuff that people should know about, so I try to help. And then there's good people. I've got people, you know, contributing to my blog, Australia, Asia, Europe, and all over the place, South America. Wow, I'm glad because some of them are very knowledgeable and they are helpful. And, you know, they're trying to make a difference in the world too, like your listeners and viewers would want to.
Exactly. Did Billy Meier know Saddam Hussein?
Yeah, he met him when they were both about 21 or so, you know, and as he said, in Iraq, because Meier was traveling around the world, learning all sorts of stuff. He's done a lot of traveling around the world, and how to put it, even when he was young, he was being introduced by Spath to different leaders, world leaders, and just people who were either then or at that time or would become major players on the world stage, and some of them knew that they were, kind of being introduced by an extraterrestrial human being. A few people knew it, but not all of them. So it's a very interesting thing. He met a lot of these people. King Hussein of Jordan, I don't know if your viewers know much about, but he was a pretty cool guy apparently, and he really he was very helpful apparently to Meier in knowing about things, and it was really like a cool thing. There's photos of Meier with King Hussein's palace guards. He's just had an amazing life. I mean, he was known as the Phantom in the Middle East. The Phantom. He would bring in serial killers and mass murderers for different police departments in the Middle East. He didn't kill anybody. He told me that.
Okay.
But but he would help. He would help to protect people because he had been in the French Foreign Legion. He was a what do you call it? Just a guy with nerves of steel. He learned how to handle weapons and things because it was just like he needed to, be a very well-rounded human being in order to carry out his mission. So he's just he's a remarkable guy, real remarkable guy.
Did Billy Meier, did he ever talk about the Illuminati, the New World Order?
Yeah, but he said that the Illuminati now are really, per se, a very non-powerful group, mainly older group in Europe and stuff. That's not the thing we should be worrying about. It's, the military-industrial financial complex is what screws the world up the most. All the bankers and the military and all this kind of stuff. And on my website, you can read so much about all this stuff because he's covered that. He's written for a long time about it. And people may want to, start to search the website, search the blog, using, any words that interest them because there's so much there. There's just an enormous amount on almost any topic you could possibly think of. There's, Billy Meier's written about it.
Have you personally yourself ever been in contact with any ETs yourself, or just through Billy?
No, I haven't. I've been within about 20 feet of one of the small craft when I was living up in the mountains of Brazil. And that was a little startling at first because I didn't expect it. And then I went to Switzerland the next weekend to talk to Billy, and he said, "Oh yeah, a little monitoring craft, And there's actually I didn't take a photograph, it was at night, but there was a photograph taken in 1989 that shows two of the exact same craft. I have that photograph in a film of mine called "And Did They Listen?" And that film, that's an award-winning film that's being represented in film festivals around the world now and stuff like that. And I show the photograph that that was taken in Switzerland showing that. It was really, really a pretty cool time.
In the upcoming elections, do you know who's going to win the elections?
I don't know. And Meier, he may know, but they will not say anything about it prior to that because, for what it's worth, they're not going to start to try to influence anything. It's up to us what happens.
So are these ETs like time travelers that they know the future?
Well, to some degree, but not all of the future is fixed. There are some things that are indeed, set in stone. Like there's certain things like the coming San Francisco earthquake, the coming Northwest earthquake, these things are going to happen without a doubt, but there are many things that people still can and they must work to change so that they don't occur. You know, it's like another world war isn't necessarily, how do you put it, a sure thing, but if we don't, you know, act in every way, we international human beings, we're pretty screwed because things are pressing and the coming financial collapses. It's looking like a certainty now all over the place, and people need to come together to work with each other on, you know, community cooperation, becoming much wiser about how things are done, so that you know, coming times when there are shortages of, you know, resources, that people have, you know, can be mutually supportive with each other and stuff like that. This is life as people can't imagine it is coming to a world near us. As a matter of fact, this one. And we will, most of your audience will live to see it for better or for worse. And this is what we are trying to help people prepare for.
What in your view, or Billy Meier, does he explain anything about supernatural entities like demons and stuff like that?
No such things. This is all, again, religious hysteria and delusion and nonsense, because before Christianity was created, there were no demons and the devil and all this stuff, so it had to be created by people who want to manipulate people, who want to control people, scare the daylights out of them, so people believe they have demons and entities. And of course, once somebody believes something strongly enough, they can go pretty wacko and they can start babbling uncontrollably or manifest bloody wounds. Or our unconscious and our subconscious is so powerful, we have no idea of what we really are as whole beings. So things can get activated and aggravated that really don't help us at all to function. And it's all hysteria. You know, anybody ever see the devil really walking down the street anywhere? You know, I mean, you think, guys, oh no, but he's controlling me, you know, all this stuff. So you can thank the church for this nut garbage, you know, and the fact, you know, that the church is still around is pretty amazing, considering that for centuries, this institution has been harboring the worst pedophiles, the worst degenerates, the craziest, most power-hungry people, accumulating wealth in the name of a man who never proposed any of that. And after all these public scandals in the past, let's say 5 years, with all of this stuff being revealed, people still believe in this nonsense and still give money to these guys who should have been run out of town in their Halloween costumes while they babble in Latin and the rest of this BS. What, you know, Meier said, had it not been for the Catholic Church, humanity, we would have been space traveling 200 years ago. But no, we've got these guys walking around with, you know, waving their little hands and muttering and burning incense, dressed up with their robes, while they're abusing children and adults and horrific stuff. Why? In the name of a non-existent Savior and God. Well, here we go. Now we've got the other crazy stuff, the fanatical Islamists, and, you know, radical Jews have been crazy. Radical Hindu people are crazy. The radical fundamentalist people do crazy stuff. So there are no demons. There's no devil. There's no angels and spirit guides. This is all people's own concoctions and imaginations. You know, we're responsible for our own lives. Nobody else. No one's coming to save us. If we can't figure that out by now, we're in real trouble. Look, I tell people, I say, look, how many trillions of prayers do you think in the past couple thousand years, let alone past several thousand years, human beings have been pumping out day and night up to some guy in the sky that they think is floating around? How many of those prayers have ever been answered? Duh. So why are people continuing to hurl prayers upward at an imaginary deity whose track record is really pathetic because he doesn't exist? And their prayers are never, if the prayers had been answered even centuries ago, probably nobody would be left on earth because everybody would just pray and destroy everybody else. We just never give thought to this. We just chase after all this silly stuff like, carrot on a stick kind of stuff. So we got some trouble down here, Robert.
Yeah,
and we're responsible for it.
Was even Atlantis real?
I'm sorry?
Atlantis. The city
Yes,
of Atlantis.
real.
Okay, and who lived there?
Who were they and all that?
Yes.
Well, they were originally extraterrestrials who colonized here. This is going back thousands of years. And they were human beings. And then there were other people who colonized what we call Lemuria or Mu. And those two peoples had cities and cultures. They went on for a few thousand years now. And then there was another group, another race who decided to kind of mess things up. And what they did is they tried to create trouble between the Lemurian and the Atlantean, which they succeeded eventually in doing. And then Atlantis and Lemuria got misled into warring with each other. They basically destroyed themselves. And it sunk. It wasn't nothing magic. It was plain old crazy war between peoples who really just should not have gone that route.
One final question before we end the show. What are your thoughts on, or Billy Meier's on, the Bermuda Triangle?
Well, they explained that pretty well, Robert. They said that there was an intersection of energies that existed that originated deep in space, and that they came together at that point and really screwed things up energetically, so that there were these times in which the energies would disrupt the seas and the atmosphere, and planes would fall out of the sky and ships would sink and stuff like that. It was nothing. It was not a mystical thing in any way, shape, or form. It was simply, this was a construct that originated in deep space, emanating energies towards Earth, which apparently then have ceased to be an issue, that they don't happen anymore.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show tonight. It's been very interesting, very informative. I'm sure my viewers are going to enjoy this. They have.
Oh, well, I'm happy to hear that. Let me just extend again an offer to your viewers.
Sure.
If they get any DVD on my website at dayfly.com, maybe you can share my website.
It's on screen right now, dayfly.com.
Oh, good. Okay, great. Well, if they go there and they order any DVD, pick another free, single DVD, and simply in the order, there's a place where you can say, send this free, this other one free. And if for some reason you can't do it, send an email to me. I ordered DVD, send me a free one. I'll be happy to do it. Please also visit my blog and feel free to start talking with other folks out there. And I really appreciate this opportunity. I hope we can do it again.
Yes, for sure. We would definitely want to have you back on our show at some point in the future. All right. So I want to thank you for coming on the show, and have a good night.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Wow. Wow.
It's quite a different outlook on what we've learned about UFOs, aliens, demons, and all kinds of different stuff like this.
Yeah, it's but you know what? It's his opinion. We gotta respect his opinion. We're not gonna muffle anybody because we don't muffle, right? It's not like we're Big Brother where they muffle everything and everyone out there.
I do wanna. They also have to control and silence us, and it's not good to do that. That's why we do the show, and everybody has different ways, different techniques, and it's all good to whoever is into it, But
I hope he does come on again, though. I like having him. He's very interesting. A lot of different views.
For sure. I mean, we can all agree on the same thing. But anyhow, we're going to be getting off on the MnRTV Live Show tonight. We'll be back next week. And God bless you all. And thank you for watching the show. Without you, we'd be just talking to ourselves. So good night, everybody.
Thank you very much, everyone. You guys are the greatest, and we'll be back next week. Hopefully, God willing, we'll be back, and you guys are the best. Don't you ever forget that. And share, like this show, and
share it.
get it out there, because
Indeed.
you're the ones that can, and we can also to always be positive. All right, have a good one. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.